Get us off screen. Here we are.
Well, hello. That caught me by surprise.
Yeah, I bought our intro.
Happy Sunday, everybody. How's everyone doing?
Margot, cheers.
Cheers, Margot. Cheers. Well, that brings me to there's a lot of sad things that happened to me this week, which is why I'm really looking forward to comedy. In addition to the soaring COVID numbers, which are just devastating, I dropped my older son off at college this week. It was very heartbreaking to have my heart across the country. I came home to a dog that is ever closer to cancer taking her from us. Very sad. And yet the saddest moment of my week, it's such a girly thing, is stepping on the scale and realizing it's time to pay the piper and I cannot drink my alcohol every night anymore. But, and I'm feeling it. I did a different thing today. And I don't know how many of you have tried the edibles. They're slow to kick in for me. I'm impatient. And so I shoved a couple more down. And now they're
shoved a couple more down is always my advice if you're depressed.
If things
are hitting you hard.
Night with you always.
It's I have so many comments, but let's focus on your edibles and see where that goes.
Okay. I mean, today's our comedy show. We're doing the comedy hour. We're trying to have some fun today.
Perfect place to be in.
Yes.
I have nothing to report of sadness from my life this week. So that's cheery.
Yeah, that is cheery. Anything fun?
No, but I did get a beer that fit us tonight, like I always do. This one is, since we're doing cultural comedy stuff, I went with Comedy Vulture or Culture Vulture. Culture
Vulture. I like it.
Yeah. And I got to say, this is a tasty beer. So if you're a beer nut, this is a very good hazy IPA that's got a little guava going in it.
Okay. Hey, I always need to ask, what's the percentage?
I know you're going to ask, so it's 7% because I'm being mild myself tonight.
Yeah, that's mild. Mine's 10. I can't read. I need my readers to read my pot.
Yours is in grams, right? Isn't it? I don't know. Is that what they do?
Grams. None of it means any sense to me. 30 grams? Oh, no way. 5 milligrams each. That's baby stuff. I know, but I took 2. Anyway, all right. So
fair enough.
Yeah. All right. What else? Are we going to talk about the news? We're just going to get to the funny stuff or the not funny stuff, or
we could go over little news. We got Gavin Newsom is probably going to win the he's going to survive his recall effort, most likely, for anyone that cares.
And then the liberals are going to be so self-congratulatory.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really torn on what's the best thing for the Democrats in California, to lose and have to win it back in a year. But, Democrats are just going to take the lesson if they lost and say, well, shit, we have to be more Republican because so many Republicans are in the state that they were so anti-mask that we have to be very anti-mask and rightist and whatnot. Yeah. So I don't know. I personally, I said I was going to wait to the last minute to pick one way or another on this one, and I'm still there. I mean, I don't say anyone should vote for Elder. The guy's a freaking nutbag, but
I'm voting against the recall, not for Gavin Newsom. That's how I'm justifying it in myself. I'm voting against a Republican recall that feels like it would end up being actually undemocratic. But I am not.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice if the ballots had that on it? Like, are you same vote? It counts the same, but you get to tally it. The pollsters after the fact get to look at how many people voted for Hillary versus against Hillary, or voted for Bernie against Bernie. You know,
I really, really wish that
would change the game. Actually, let's get this started.
That it would.
Let's make this our force the vote, Lila.
I like it. It'll be you and me on the steps, and all the gatekeepers online can make fun of it. Ross. I figure, I'm not sure, but thank you. I was looking elegant, and I just a clarification in case you're ever wanting to send me wine. It's Pinot Noir. So I really need the red stuff, not the white stuff.
Grigio is the white stuff.
Just in case you're ever feeling like sending a case to me. But thank you. I'm going to have to do with my little tin of edibles today.
Yeah.
All right.
She only drinks wines of color.
Everything you say is going to make me giggle uproariously. Don't let it get to your head.
Let's go tonight then. Let's do it.
Okay.
So we gathered a bunch of clips of, we both searched for comedy clips. They're leftist humor. And when I say leftist, I'm including Democrats, but I don't really include them. But shitlib humor, everything from liberal shitlib humor to actual humor. And we kind of wanted to show you, and most people know this and have seen it, but the level of propaganda and the difference between good humor, in my opinion, is always punching up, like satire and parody and humor. I mean, if you're going after dumb Trumpers or something, that's just the lowest hanging fruit possible. And after years and years of it, it's just not funny anymore most of the time, to be honest. But so instead of, we did the good, the bad, and the ugly and broke it into a few segments. But we thought it'd be better to start with the ugly and go from there.
All right, let's have it. Who are we doing first? There's a slew of them. I waded through so much of this humor, and it actually was incredibly depressing until I got to the end of the show. So brace yourself.
But I enjoyed the depressing stuff too, because it really, after the fact, even since some of this is earlier, it shows you what we're up against. But let's see. Let's start with the ugly.
It's easy for dried up old crones like me to dismiss Bernie fans as naive kids who believe in wizards and unicorns. Sometimes too easy, but I wanted to hear from actual Sanders supporters themselves.
We met at legendary folk music venue Cafe Wah. Our impossibly diverse panel included a new citizen, a Native American, and of course, a stereotypical Bernie bro with his backward baseball cap just oozing with tude. Uniting them, belief in a candidate who promises not only political revolution, but to broker peace with the beasts among us.
We know that Bernie Sanders is going to win the nomination and win the election and become our next president.
Yeah. All right.
That's all there is to it.
The media has not been really fair to Bernie. They ignored him for months.
I'm not here to bash Bernie. I'm just here to understand your optimism, stick my fingers in it, and just roll it around in my hands and restore myself to the person I used to be.
I do.
If you're feeling bad, we can all give you a hug.
How do they stay so positive in the face of their one big obstacle?
I'm just going to do a little word association. There's only one word. Hillary.
Dishonest.
Inauthentic.
Uninspiring.
Inside the box.
That's 3 words.
Wall Street.
Okay, that's 2 words. Get to pick wall or street.
She's saying elect me because I know how to grease the wheels.
Do you think she's too much in the pocket of big, realistic expectations?
Oh, yeah. Deep down in the pocket.
There's a lot of dishonesty coming from a lot of what she does.
Holy shit. I just noticed that you have a Bernie Sanders tattoo on your body.
They can laugh all they want, but my Dennis Kucinich tummy tattoo did not age well. Neither did his slogan.
What is the biggest shared trait of Bernie supporters? Is it passion? Is it a sense of justice? Is it a secret desire to live under a Ted Cruz presidency?
No, not at all.
Okay, I have to stop it because I'm getting so angry all over again. So that's like every single, smear item she just puts right in there, right? I mean, but landing on a Ted Cruz presidency, because of course nobody thought that Donald Trump would win, but we're already going to blame any Bernie supporter here in the primary for a Republican winning.
Well, yeah, and the Pied Piper strategy actually included boosting Ted Cruz. So I mean, it's a little. They wanted this narrative out there that it's one of these nuts going to be.
Yep. It was Ted Cruz, Ben Carson, or Donald Trump.
And go figure. Those were the final three. So yeah, good stuff.
Good stuff.
But yeah, she does a good job mocking, in her own way, all Bernie supporters, which is the whole purpose of the segment, is to mock Bernie supporters.
Yeah,
obviously.
that it's wishful thinking that you can't have what every other developed country in the world has.
Right. The underlying theme is this is all unrealistic.
Yep.
Which is common throughout all of media when it comes to comedy about progressives and Bernie supporters.
Yeah.
So that's cheery.
Yeah, it's cheery. That's funny. So far, I'm not finding it
hilarious. Hilarious. Let's drink. All
okay.
Right, play.
Yeah. Oh, do I have to play? Okay.
Oops.
Are we moving forward?
Oh, we're moving on to this is the Bill Maher segment.
Okay. Okay, good.
So, yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's going to say some nice things about people of color. That he's never not racist. Let's be honest.
He's incredibly open-minded.
This is a rare
You're
good
saying
moment.
that Islamophobia is not a real thing. That if you're critical of something,
well, it's not a real thing when we do it.
Right.
Well, no, it really isn't. I'm not denying that certain people are bigoted against Muslims as people. And that's a problem.
Big of you.
But
why are you so hostile about this? It's gross. It's racist.
It's not. But it's so nuts.
It's like saying
it's so not.
You're shifty Jew.
You're not listening to what we are saying.
You guys are saying if you want to be liberals, believe in liberal principles like freedom of speech, like we are endowed by our forefathers with an inalienable rights, like all men are created equal.
Ben, we have to be able to criticize bad ideas. And
of course we do. No liberal doesn't want to criticize bad ideas.
But Islam at this moment is the mother lode of bad ideas.
Jesus.
So we have ideas like blasphemy.
It's an ugly thing. How about the more than 1 billion people who aren't fanatical, who don't punch women, who just want to go to the store,
wait a second.
Wait a second. Don't do any of the things that you're saying all Muslims.
Wait a second.
Stereotyping. Wait a second. Things, and you're painting the whole religion with that. No.
Dr. Fauci said that if hospitals
we should pause that.
Yeah, let's pause that.
Let's address that. I mean, the curse of that segment is it made me like Ben Affleck, which really is not cool. Not cool, Bill Maher, not cool.
I loved Ben Affleck in 2016. That was priest stuff, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I don't know, but he was good there. I mean, that was what you were supposed to say, and he was one of the few. He and Glenn Greenwald are the only people who Maher had on who ever spoke back to him about his disgusting anti-Islam tirades, and I don't think either one of them ever came back on after their takedown.
That segment really laid out the racism because it wasn't like they weren't even talking about extremists. They were just saying that the religion itself is predicated on allowing for more violence and extremism, totally ignoring the Crusades and all the things from Christianity, and it falls into the we're a Christian nation kind of bullshit. And
I mean, really gross and such a closed-minded way of thinking, obviously. But what cracks me up always with Bill Maher is he prides himself because he thinks he's being politically incorrect in the best way, and instead he's just like a disgusting old racist man.
Yeah, it's the my racist joke is funny because I'm not really racist.
Yeah.
which I use all the time when I play Quiplash in my game night with Kiko and Carlin, who are in the chat. Cheers.
Oh, cheers.
Let me just throw a shout out to them right here. There we go.
Hey. Cheers. Cheers with
let's
tonic.
Let's continue with the humor. Jimmy Kimmel, this was just this week or last week? Recently.
This is funny. This was last week. This is super funny.
It's hilarious about unvaccinated people, whatever.
Any more overcrowded, they're going to have to make some very tough choices about who gets an ICU bed. That choice doesn't seem so tough to me. Vaccinated person having a heart attack, yes, come right on in. We'll take care of you. Unvaccinated guy who gobbled horse goo, rest in peace, Wheezy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brings up so many different points. And listen, I don't know what it's like to be a healthcare worker and have been dealing with all of this for the last year and a half. It must be horrendous. And nobody should be put in the position that they're being put in 18-hour day shifts for 18 months and going. But this idea that we can like stop down and judge who gets to live or die. And, especially, I'm going to say something that's going to get me in a lot of trouble, but like,
do it
with this, celebrating 9/11, which was like Facebook yesterday was just a horrendous shit show of trauma porn. It was ridiculous. And it's sad and awful, and nobody should have been killed that day. But when people like liberals who are now so gleefully looking at whole states and just basically consigning them all to death that they deserve, there was a reason that the Twin Towers and the Pentagon were chosen. And it was not because those are the best among us, or maybe some people might even think that they've caused more pain than, like the people who are running our financial industries and our Defense Department have wreaked such havoc on the world. So if we're judging like who gets to live or die, I just think we shouldn't be putting any doctor or nurse in that position.
Yeah, for me, it's one thing to say that, with your friends, that because I do feel the pain against, I feel the anger against the unvaccinated, especially when I'm with my cancer friend who is super at risk and has all her shots, but she takes a risk just going to the hospital to run into unvaccinated folks and whatnot. But when you act as the state in these things, you need to show some understanding. Like even a lot of the unvaccinated people, it's from misinformation. It's from their cultural upbringing. It's from their environment as people. It's from their history with the virus. I mean, there are a million reasons people are unvaccinated, and to just lay out that you think unvaccinated people should die and you shouldn't be treated is obviously disgusting. So
it's always where we put our emphasis on such easy, like this pandemic is horrific, and I'm terrified of it for myself, for my kids, for everybody. I do have a lot of resentment for people on an individual basis who aren't vaccinated or who don't mask if I see them in a store. But this idea of only looking at individual responses to the pandemic and not the system that created a country where half of us don't want a free vaccine because they're so distrustful of the science, which there's a reason for all of that. And never, ever to look at the systems that create this just feels, again, like low-hanging fruit. So easy to be like, horse paste.
Yeah, and it keeps the focus on the people that aren't vaccinated instead of what our government isn't doing. Our government could be doing a million things other than just saying, go get vaccinated. I mean, Biden's speech this week about all the things he's doing for his COVID plan. I mean, 90% of it is just, it's vaccination related. It's not even the testing. Like, okay, so we're finally here we are. The numbers are worse than they were last year.
Yep.
And he's just getting around to making rapid tests available at cost.
It's
like at cost in our country isn't the same as at cost in other countries either. And other countries are giving them out for free.
I mean, for free.
UK can get every week a test for 7 tests or something like that.
Yep.
Every week. And
for
here
free.
we are. And people here have to make the decision of like, okay, I was exposed to COVID because of a coworker or a friend. But if I do the right thing, I have to take the free test, and the free test is 3 to 5 days, or, they have to weigh all these decisions. So they end up going to work and spreading the virus more. So
because the rapid test could be almost like $200, number one. And that's number two, if you can even find it, because I've looked for it at drugstores and it's sold out. So we've had a year and a half where we could have been sending people good masks. We could have been contact tracing. We could have been testing everybody. We could have been sending people rapid tests, making them. I mean, there is so much that the administration, both administrations, didn't do, that just to blame, this is not just a pandemic of the unvaccinated.
And that's where the humor comes into play, because if these comedians were, if he was making that joke and then he followed it up with a real criticism of Biden and what they're doing with the vaccination, I could live with it. You know, it's not at the end of the day, that message right there, if you analyze it, it drives people. It's putting the criticism on the unvaccinated, which I'm not against, but you can't solely do that. He needs to follow it up with, look at what Biden has done. Jack shit. Hey, how are the masks doing? If all these people on mainstream media in the comedians were out there criticizing Biden equally as they would have Trump, it would make a difference. We could have masks. We could have a mass distribution program. We could have rapid testing available for everybody. We could have more work tested. We could have all these things, but it takes so long for comedians on the left to criticize Biden. It's like a taboo thing for them to do.
Yeah. Which is not, I mean, the opposite of what I thought comedy was supposed to be, right? But yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, let's move on to there's some actual, I mean, we call this the bad, and the bad is, that was the ugly side of the comedians.
Yeah. Reveling in someone's death is ugly, but there's plenty bad to go around.
Yeah. And you're going to have to wait a second while I find the button to push. It's complicated over here.
I'm not giving those controls.
All right. So here is the bad.
That being said, the American people face an important decision this fall.
Okay. So this was an ongoing thing that Obama did with Jimmy Fallon, where they slow jammed the news. Oh yeah.
How better to sell your agenda?
And there were a lot of them, and I gave up looking, because I can only watch so many of these clips without wanting to kill myself. Yeah. I'll be honest. But this was a few minutes from after Obama had lost. It was before transitioning to Hillary. So just to set it up, this is where he's at.
The entire world is watching, and they look to us for stability and leadership. Now, I know some of the presidential candidates have been critical of my foreign policy. I don't want to name any names. He's talking about Donald Trump. But I believe it is of the utmost importance to work alongside other world leaders. That's why I signed the Iran nuclear deal. That's why we reopened diplomatic ties with Cuba. And that's why I negotiated the new trade deal called the Trans-Pacific Partnership, or TPP.
Now hold on there, Press Dispenser. Are you saying you're down with TPP?
Yeah, you know me.
Oh my God. I mean, he lumps in the Iran nuclear deal, which was probably his best foreign policy, right? The Paris Accord, which is really toothless, but something. And then the TPP, and then for Jimmy Fallon to be there, what does Jimmy Fallon even know what it is?
So Jimmy Fallon, the video I wanted to find was there was one during the campaign, while Obama was president, not on his way out, where they were pimping the hell out of TPP. And so that's the worst thing about it is here you are, the comedians that are supposed to be going after the people in charge. They're supposed to be punching up and pursuing. He's just playing along with whatever Obama wants is the whole thing. The
Hallmark card.
Every segment with Obama was always like, what do you want? Okay, pimp the TPP. I'll pimp the TPP. Yeah. And for people that don't know, that the TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership, it was entirely written by corporations. It basically gave corporations rights beyond our legal system. I mean, they could do whatever they wanted to for oil. If you wanted to put climate change issues front and center in the country. TPP had like a trump card over our own state, our own government's climate issues because of the Trans-Pacific Global Arrangement.
Yeah, it's
So
really disgusting. And again, like, always judging like how many deaths are caused by, climate change and climate disaster and poisoning the water and the air of people around the world so that our businesses can just rake in billions and billions of dollars. That is like violence. That is true violence. We're just going to do a slow jam to it.
Oh, yeah.
Look, Jimmy, the TPP allows American businesses to sell their products both at home and abroad.
Ouch.
The more we sell abroad, the more higher paying jobs we provide here at home. It's that simple.
So what you're saying is this trade deal will help put everyday Americans back to work. You put it back to work. You put it back to
work.
Wow.
I got to stop it on that because what the fuck? That's so bad.
Working everyday Americans back to work. That's, honestly, that's like North Korea level that we would make fun of that.
Yeah, it's just such propaganda. And Jimmy Fallon, of all the night shows, I swear to God, he's the worst. He is the most propaganda, like, tell me what to say and I will cue that shit up and do it.
Yep. I mean, he was even patting Trump's hair in 2016, making nice.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
I'm gonna have to walk away during this section. I'm gonna get a beer. I will be here, but I'm gonna hit play, and I suggest you guys all walk away for the next 2 minutes too.
Wait, just so you know, this next thing is comedy. It's the start of a comedy hour. It's about to happen.
Yeah, this is literally the intro to a comedy show.
It's supposed to be subversive.
This is hilarious.
As SNL is wont to do, they came forward to lighten the moment and alleviate the pain that everyone was feeling. I couldn't.
How dare! I was listening. I
couldn't bear it. Can I fast forward this? Because do we really have to? Oh my!
I'm gonna skip us ahead a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
Blah blah. I mean, I almost want to. I mean, I don't want you guys to all watch this, but can you just appreciate that this just goes on and on and on. And this is the opening to Saturday Night Live, a comedy show. And it's just her without a drop of humor. in character is Hillary singing a sad song because she lost the election.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how they set up their season.
Yeah. They didn't even go after Trump on this one. But yeah.
And the one thing we left out of tonight, which was I don't know if it was conscious or subconscious, but obviously there's Russia baiting in the humor every night still to this day, and we didn't really touch on that, but you'll see that it's the lowest of all hanging fruit. So we didn't even cover that.
Giving up, and neither should you. And live from New York, it's Saturday night.
Hilarious.
That's
hilarious.
Yeah, that's pretty hilarious. All right, so that's bad. Do we have more bad?
Oh, there's more bad.
Oh boy.
Should we start with this? What show was? I don't even remember what show this was.
Is that Noah? The Daily Show.
This is the Daily Show, which when Jon Stewart had it. Jon Stewart had his moments where he was a shit lib, but in general, he punched up most of the time. So I will give him credit for that. Trevor Noah is he's a Jimmy Fallon Democrat. He doesn't punch up much. Once in a while, they get a good clip out of him, but 99% of the time, he's just pushing corporate propaganda. So here we go. This is Bernie during the election.
I mean, this has all the best hits, right? Bernie yelling, it's so complicated. How are we going to pay for it?
Well, the ultimate is this is all great. I support all of that, but we can't afford it. You can't pay for it, which is the whole shtick of all the late night comedy folks. I mean, when they're talking about this, he could choose other things that show that there's savings in all these programs.
Right.
There's data out there to support whatever you want.
No, it's what every
And
it's
you would
what
think
everyone says. Yeah.
Yeah, you would think if you support these programs, you wouldn't show data like largely crafted by the right-wing narrative, right-wing think tanks and centrist Democrat think tanks.
Right. Yeah, and it does just make me wonder, like, what a comedian goes into comedy for. Like, because this idea of just like going through the establishment talking points to take down the one person who's actually like, a person of the people, I'll never understand it, but it is amazing because it's like they all got their talking points and they all stuck to them. And he does not disappoint in this.
Well, I mean, we know that pressure was put on people in the media.
Oh yeah.
Like Ed Schultz couldn't cover. He got fired when he wanted to cover Bernie's announcement speech.
That's right. He got
so
fired.
I mean, the same pressure is probably put on comedians. I mean, let's be honest. These are powerful institutions.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was. I mean, I wish someone in comedy would leak something like that, but
yeah,
I'm sure it's true.
I am too. And I'm also sure it's sort of the soft pressure, right? Of just, even if you don't get the exact, like what I just said, like, oh, you're given talking points, but there's an idea, like you're socializing with the same people who believe the same things, who are all very wealthy and become millionaires to protect the billionaires for whom they work, which, those 6 companies own all of the different networks. Right. So, it's like you're in this sort of milieu of people who are all the same. Like, we wish we could have it. We wish you could help everybody, but, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good and all that kind of settle for less.
Yeah. And I really wanted to pull a Colbert clip, but like of all the things, seeing Colbert become a shit lib and go after Bernie during the actual during Bernie's election, that was the most painful to me because I really loved old Colbert.
Yeah, me too.
But he had a segment where, the Bernie bro was getting upset and they were flipping over the desk. I don't know if you remember that one, but awful. And the whole thing is like, they all get to say they support everything that Bernie stands for, but it's unrealistic. We can't pay for it and it won't win. Is there a message?
Are so mean. I would want people not to die from lack of healthcare, but there was a Bernie bro who was mean to me once online. I mean, it's such, we knew it was BS when it was happening, but then to see how they welcomed the K-Hive was really they just did not even care about what they had been saying. I should have known the whole time it was entirely bad faith, but just in case I hadn't caught on, they were willing to like throw it in all of our faces at the end. They did not care about the Bernie bro idea at all, except to just sell an idea that liberal voters I know repeated verbatim. I mean, so many people I know thought
of
that
all the narratives, that one stuck the most, that Bernie bros were mean online.
And
when
that's
the only actual science ever done on it showed that was entirely false. There was only one study at the time, back when Bernie was running, and it showed that was bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime you can get a picture of Bernie next to either a picture of a hook-nosed, money-treed little gnome or Donald Trump. Those are the two ways you can always know that the establishment is going to go.
Right. It's all about some subconscious similarity,
Yeah. Even if you're saying, oh no, they're different, you're still like putting it there out for people to see that.
Right. And if you do that with the message that he has big crowds, Bernie has big crowds, he said unrealistic things. Bernie he can't really tax the 1% for this.
Right.
And who's saying this? Trevor Noah, a guy from Africa that doesn't know. This is the problem I have most with Trevor Noah. He does not understand American politics. He still does not.
Right. Yeah.
And even if he means well, he does not understand it. But I don't know.
He's just, I think, going the way the tide's turning, and it's just very clear who pays his salary.
Right. Was that the last of the
I think that was the last of the bad. No, the good, the bad. Yeah. Now we get to the good, right? Please God, because it's getting painful. I'm gonna have to break out my wine. F the keto diet.
Can you hear me now? because I unplugged my mic. Okay.
Oh yeah, I can hear you now. I thought you were doing a bit. It's like I don't think that's really funny, Pat.
It's not. So the bad. Let's start it all. I'm disappointed that our audience didn't watch the entirety of the Hillary clip. So I'm gonna play it later.
Let's go back. Let's start with the ugly.
I'm gonna share it on Twitter. I should actually.
But really, can you find?
Okay. So there is good humor, and it's not the easiest to find, of course, and it's not the most mainstream usually, but we have some good humor. So let's show some of the good stuff.
Punching it.
What was this?
There's just enough bullshit to hold things together in this country. Bullshit is the glue that binds us as a nation. Where would we be without our safe, familiar American bullshit? Land of the free, home of the brave, the American dream. All men are equal, justice is blind, the press is free, your vote counts. Business is honest, the good guys win. The police are on your side. God is watching you. Your standard of living will never decline. And everything is gonna be just fine. The official national bullshit story. I call it the American okey doke. Every one of those items is provably untrue at one level or another, but we believe them because they're pounded into our heads from the time we're children. That's what they do with that kind of thing. Pounded into the heads of kids because they know the children are much too young to be able to muster an intellectual defense against a sophisticated idea like that. And they know that up to a certain age, children believe everything their parents tell them. And as a result, they never learn to question things. Nobody questions things in this country anymore. Nobody questions that. Everybody's too fat and happy. Everybody's got a cell phone that'll make pancakes and rub their balls now. Way too fucking prosperous.
Never mind. Can I get that cell phone though? I just would like that cell phone.
Way too fucking proud. Americans have been bought off and silenced by toys and gizmos, and no one learns to question things.
I don't know what this site is, so we're not endorsing or unendorsing or whatever, but that popped up now. Yeah.
Yeah. They're probably Boogaloo Boys, I'm guessing, because that's how our luck would work here.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna go
We'd
back.
be aligning with Boogaloo Boys.
I'm stopping it there so that we're not stopping on something that's like they're gonna freeze frame and tell me about my red-brown alliance.
Smart.
Yeah, well, and what was so great about George Carlin is like he not only did he not ask permission, he knew that if you want to talk about canceled, that would actually get him canceled from the nicest places with the nicest people, right? I mean, talking out against the country, revealing, talking about how our democracy works or doesn't work, how business works. That is not something that many comedians do right now. They will not speak out against that.
Yeah, and I think most people always understood George Carlin. I think the difference between people now and then is that people that are well off now don't see the urgency. Because in his time, you didn't have such a clear enemy they could portray on the right. Like the right has now like such a clear villain that people that are well off can just say, well, but that's the alternative. It's an easy fall in, where it wasn't necessarily. And during Carlin's time, it was easier to look and they didn't have this like the other guys so much worse thing that they have now.
Yeah. So it was more taking a chance to call him out and calling out both sides too, which I don't think was all that common then. Certainly isn't common now, right? Like if you're a liberal, usually you play for your team, but he didn't have a team in that regard. Started Me Too.
Roseanne Arquette.
No. But before Alyssa Milano got her hands on it, it had been started by somebody else. But so I don't know where that comes, but it certainly was not in anybody's mind back then. That was in the early 2000s, I think, or mid 2000s. And for Seth MacFarlane to say that, or have the Kevin Spacey joke raping a little boy in on Family Guy, nobody was talking about that in public.
Yeah, amen. And the Me Too stuff, I mean, it started obviously before it became adopted by Hollywood folks, way before. But
yeah, but with Trump getting elected in 2016, that's what really kind of pushed people to speak out and say Me Too,
Right.
and then the whole obviously revelation about Weinstein. And
yeah, and kudos to everyone who did bring it mainstream, but then it was co-opted and abused, and obviously with Tara Reid, it was ignored and weakened.
And Chris Cuomo, or Cuomo,
Chris, whatever, all the Cuomos.
Mario, all the Cuomos, disgusting. All right, so yay, Seth MacFarlane.
This is election night in America.
I can't believe.
Oh, so this is SNL actually doing a good job-ish.
It's like the one moment of awareness. Yes.
After all this, it's going to finally be over.
I don't know. We'll see. Trump's already got lawyers to fight the results.
Okay, don't even joke about that or I will leave. Guys, we're about to have our first woman president. Like, this is going to be a historic night.
Yeah, it might be a historic night, but just don't forget it's a big country.
My friend at the Huffington Post says she wins by 5 points.
Oh, I don't know. My friend at Slate says she'll win by 3. Oh, well, she'll definitely win the Electoral College, for sure. But I guess there's like a nightmare scenario where he wins the popular vote.
Really? That's your nightmare scenario, huh?
Because of shifting demographics, there might never be another Republican president in this country.
Word. You ever been around this country before?
And we project Kentucky will go to Donald Trump.
Yeah, well, of course he won Kentucky. I mean, that's where all the racists are.
All of them are in Kentucky?
You know, she got Vermont.
Oh, snap, Vermont! 3 electoral votes. Now that's a power grab.
Okay, this says Florida is too close to call.
Okay, no, it says too early to call. There's only 1% in.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and call it. Florida's going blue. To Latinos.
To Latinos!
Well, of course he's going to win Ohio. We knew that. But if we can get Pennsylvania, Florida, and North Carolina, we don't even need Ohio.
Yeah, and if the Indians having 4 more runs, they would win a World Series too, dude.
I'm gonna grab a Xanax from the bedroom. Okay, well, you grab me 6. Yeah, I'm just gonna bring the whole bottle. How's that?
Look, early returns are always going to be Republican because Republicans go to sleep early. That's just a fact.
I just talked to my brother-in-law at CBS. He says Trump's gonna win Florida.
Word? I guess that the Latinos didn't hear about your toast.
Hey guys, what'd I miss?
Larry, Trump might actually win.
Pat,
Yes, ma'am.
they shut it down. They shut
What are you
down
talking
the
about?
screen.
What?
Yeah, they just shut it down. I don't think anybody can see us because we're showing Saturday Night Live, a clip from Saturday Night Live. Oh no.
Really?
Yeah. All right. I don't
Wait a
know.
minute. So people typing, our
Yeah.
stream is not live. How so they allow the comments to come
I
through
guess
still?
so. Oh no. And also I don't know why I'm doing 2 responses. That's crazy. Wait, I'm gonna just see what's happening on YouTube. I guess that ended it. Bam, out. Let's see. Can they hear
Wow.
us? Yep, stream unavailable. Look at that.
So are we
suspended.
still live on anywhere? Is
No,
it?
oh, I don't know. I don't
Did we
know.
do our Twitter, the Periscope feed? Is that going?
I mean, oh, probably not because I did it through. I just.
all right.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Well, let's just comment.
But
Let's just. What? I don't even know what to do. We haven't even planned for this possibility.
Wow, I guess we can't do that long of one, huh?
I mean, how long did we go? Is it because we went? Oh, so we're
No,
still
I
on
mean
Twitter.
on the Saturday Night Live one. Well,
Okay, wait. So someone said we're still on Twitter. So if you want to follow us, go to Punch Up Pod.
Oh, so we're still on Twitter. On the Saturday Night Live one.
Okay, wait. Okay, someone said we're still on Twitter. Lila, turn that off because people are hearing it. Actually, have some more edibles and we'll resume. We need more edibles.
I just couldn't find my tab.
It's all right.
Oh my god. Well,
okay, so if you go to at Punch Up Pod on Twitter, there's a feed through Periscope that is still going. Apparently, maybe they shut that down. But Antonios Soler 1, thank you for letting us know. It's still working on the Twitter feed. So we have a Twitter feed there that's not YouTube. It's a separate thing.
Yeah. Well, if we hadn't lost my mom already, we definitely lost her because I can't even talk through.
Just everyone stay on the line while Lila talks her mom into getting onto Twitter.
Periscope.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That's crazy how quickly all the ones and zeros must have gone through the algorithm to let them know that we were showing a clip from NBC owned.
Well, so the other one was Hillary. So why did that one? I feel like that was on as long as this was.
Yeah, you're right. Well, maybe I paused it fast enough. Maybe it has to be like for a certain amount of time or something. That's crazy.
We'll have to figure it out.
Big Brother is watching all of us. Wow. All right. Do we have one?
Wait. So are they going to demonetize us? Are we going to owe money because we're not monetized for $1? So
we're going to put they're going to put a lien on us.
I'm going to post my Patreon soon. So, cause the man is fighting us. So donate to our Patreon.
That's great. We can start our group.
So, all right. Our people. So we have 9 people watching. It'll be shown later, but like live, we're down to 9. Are people watching us on Periscope? Cause I don't know what we do. Like, do we how many more clips do we have? No. We have a bunch, but
oh really? We've been going an hour. I feel like we should
no, we have long. Let's see. Let's skip ahead. We're still not going to be able to show any of it, but
yeah, you can't.
The SNL one was kind of long, to be honest.
It was really long, and it was actually really good and self-aware about like white people finally realizing that it's been that election night 2016 was not the worst night of the history of the US. So there was a lot of sort of good social commentary there. But yeah, I think the only thing less funny than the ugly would be us narrating a clip. So we should move.
Then Chris Rock comes up. High fives.
Hey, funny.
No, I'm not going to go there. So, okay, we're going to move on to another clip we stole. I mean, are we in trouble for stealing clips? I mean, come on.
We're not making money off of this. I think you could.
This is fair use. I mean, this is ridiculous.
This is like Mystery Science 3000. We're just sitting here.
Right.
Oh no, you know what? I think we would have to put our heads on top of it.
That's
how you get around it. Yeah,
we're not on the side of it.
No, I think if it goes because it's still like an intact picture. I think that's why they had those heads there, and that's why like Perez Hilton. Remember when he would get pictures that were other paparazzi? He would like draw on them to kind of get around copyright stuff. Okay, yeah.
All right, this is a tech issue we'll overcome. But let's move on to Jim Jeffries. Is that his name, Jim Jeffries?
Yeah, there's a long clip though, so we might.
Let's hope we get booted for this too. Well, we're not back on YouTube, right? It's gone.
You want me to check again? I love that echo. That was cool.
Quickly.
quickly. I'll tell you.
Hey, check again. I love that echo.
There we go. We're back.
We're on YouTube.
Shutting it down. Yes, we are. I just shut it
Are
down.
we monetized yet? Tell them to monetize us, because until I get money, I'm not going to believe it. All right. So let's just move on from the SNL stuff.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Loved it. Thank you so much, SNL. Actually, that was a good segment, but
It really wasn't. It was like the
I was being
most
sarcastic,
piercing
but
social commentary they've had in years. But that was
yeah, that's probably why that one video is flagged. Like, don't show that one.
Yeah, God.
All right. So Jim Jeffries.
As the Democrats battle for the nomination, Republicans are fighting back with a very specific strategy, and they're saving their fierce attacks for one Democrat that isn't even running.
Does Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez know the horror of socialism? My father was minutes from death in Cambodia before a forced marriage saved his life. That's socialism. I'm not outrageous, racist, nor socialist. I'm a Republican.
You're an idiot. Cambodians weren't killed by socialism. They were victims of a genocide inflicted by the communist Khmer Rouge, which I initially thought was the all-Asian sequel to Moulin Rouge. I was very disappointed and very wrong. Not as much singing, although Ewan McGregor was still heavily involved. Are voters really buying this? It makes Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez sound like she wants to murder Americans in the street, when she actually sounds more like a Central American mountain range. Tragedy today is a plane full of missionaries went down over the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. A search for the record found no survivors but scattered Buttigieg. Republicans, you think the Democrats who promote socialism are cut from the same cloth as Joseph Stalin, Pol Pot, Ewan McGregor, Fidel Castro, and his friend in the T-shirt. They all claim to be socialists, so of course it gets a bad rap. I too grew up in a socialist country, and I know too well what it can do to a society. Let me show you what socialism looks like. The horror. Now, socialism is shorthand for everything bad in the world, and it's distracting us from talking about other things. Right, legendary Dodgers announcer Vin Scully?
Socialism failing to work as it always does, this time in Venezuela. You talk about giving everybody something free, and all of a sudden, there's no food to eat. Anyway, 0-2.
Oh, Vin, always dropping some wisdom at the most awkward moments. You know, the greatest pitcher in Dodgers history was Sandy Koufax. Now let me tell you something about his people. 2 out, bottom of the 8th. The scare tactics work because people don't really know what the word socialism means. Plenty of our institutions are already socialised. Schools, roads, libraries, the military. Yes, the military is socialist. Service members get free healthcare, housing and food, and we pay for it with our taxes. The fire department. Imagine a fire department that was privatised. How would that look? Is your house on fire? Are you on fire? Call me. I'm Dennis. I have a hose. Don't be fooled by other fire departments that claim to use water. Our patented water-like substance will remove up to 70% of your fire on your home and or body. Democrats who embrace socialism are trying to empower the working class and get big money out of politics. It doesn't mean the end of capitalism. We can embrace both. What we need is a new ism that's less scary and combines the best ideas of all the isms. Since I've invented it, we can call it Jimism, or Jism for short. Yes, it's a good name. It's a good name. Jism! That'll get stuck in your head and your hair. First, we take the best things from socialism, like free...
Okay, just because I'm
Don't make me comment on that. Why are you stopping there?
Take me in with the prom theory, prom theme. But like that's the way you can, make a joke while also punching up, while also telling the truth, while also not pretending to be for the working class little guy like Jimmy Fallon or, Trevor Noah. I mean, that's the way you can use your platform if you're not an asshole.
Right. It's not scary socialism. It's, look, even if you elect the most socialist fucker on earth, they have to deal with Congress and whatever. You're going to baby, if you through electoral politics, you're going to baby step socialism into the world. It's going to be a baby step. That's it. That's the most you can hope for. Revolution is how you can get real actual change. But for mainstream folks, this is something they can understand, that socialism isn't a nasty word that's going to ruin your life. And and he's funny, gets it across. I'm just, I'm a fan.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's good. And he had a really good, I think he sort of came onto the US scene with his, it was way too long, but against the NRA. It was like a 15-minute set on gun control and owning a gun and the difference between Australia and the US. And it was really great. And it got him, sort of like catapulted him in the US,
Yeah.
Right.
And we were going to show that, but it was too long. So
we fired our editor. So we had to,
it was going to cut into Hillary singing at SNL. And I didn't want to rob you guys of that. That was the magic.
Healthcare and the bus that picks your kids up from school. Then we add capitalism. Some people will still get rich. And communism. Some people will still get poor. And then, I don't know, a touch of fascism. They had the best uniforms. Next, environmentalism, where everyone gets a turtle. And then there's anthropomorphism, so those turtles can talk. It's the best of everything. Everyone wins, and that's jism. It's coming.
That's pretty good.
I don't know why these are playing, but I appreciate it. Whatever.
There we go.
As the fucking smuggest
This was
black man public
what's his
persona that I
name?
hate.
Okay, so sorry. This was this probably should have gone back.
This is short, but
short,
yeah.
but it should have gone back with the Seth MacFarlane stuff about speaking truth to power in this particular way. Hannibal Buress.
Hannibal. From a hacked video.
I was on
Apparently.
TV in the 80s. I can talk down to you because I had a successful sitcom.
Talking about Cosby.
Women, Bill Cosby, so kind of brings it down a couple notches. I don't curse on stage, but yeah, you're a rapist, so it would take you saying lots of motherfuckers on Bill Cosby himself if you weren't a rapist.
For the most part, it's fucking public Teflon image. I've done this bit on stage, and people don't believe. People think I'm making it up. I'm like, Bill Cosby, there's a lot of rape allegations. No, you do. That shit is upsetting. If you didn't know about it, trust me. When you leave here, Google Bill Cosby rape. It's not funny. This shit has more.
And that was early. Like,
He was the one who brought it to the forefront. Nobody would talk about it in public until he said that, and that's why because it actually went viral from somebody's like secret recording, and they loaded it, and then everybody started talking about it.
Yeah, because he used he peaked. Not peaked. I mean to say peaked, but he was at his prime comedically when this went viral. So, it shows the power comedians actually have to do this stuff if they're not beholden to propaganda and Democrats and whatnot.
And that was right about Bill
careers.
Cosby, who already had several allegations, criminal allegations had been brought against him, and nobody would talk about it until Hannibal Buress started talking about it, and then the floodgates opened and the women were allowed to speak. So he really used his platform to open the door and show some real allyship.
Right. So he had so much risk having this moment in his comedy. He could have been canceled. So it's sort of the opposite of Seth MacFarlane gained popularity and was in a safe place because he was so popular. He couldn't be canceled in a sense, you know, but Hannibal could have. So kudos to him.
Yeah. I mean, still kudos.
They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
And that's the gold standard, right?
I think that sums it up right there. So we wanted to end on him because, God damn it. I mean, that's so relevant now as it always is.
Yeah. Yeah, and we need more of them. And there are so many great comedians out there right now. But you know, Pat and I often will try to like show the propaganda angle of it. So yeah.
So we picked from mainstream media kind of known folks. We wanted to have Mulvaney in here, and I apologize for that. We had Mulvaney, Mulaney, John Mulaney.
Yeah.
Mulaney.
A great opening set on Saturday Night Live right before the November election, the general, basically saying exactly what Joe Biden had said, which is nothing's going to change. But the liberal media and liberal voters were furious that he could say something like that and possibly hurt Biden's chances. It's like,
yeah. So he's been canceled, but for other reasons as well. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Thank everyone for joining us and for putting up with our YouTube ban, apparently, or something.
We're us for a wrench there.
We'll have to figure out how to not get shut down from YouTube soon.
Yeah.
Pizzagate.
For joining.
Sorry, I just thought I'd throw that out there. WikiLeaks, Pizzagate, 9/11.
Yeah, inside job.
All right. So anyway, thank you guys so much. Lila, you should have the outro.
Well, we'll see y'all on Wednesday at 5 for our regular time, Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific. And till then, keep on punching up, guys.
Bye.
Bye.